My name is Kayla Ireland. Welcome to the Inside Scoop of Living with Cerebral Palsy. This is a talk show about spreading awareness about this common difference. Today on our show we have DJ Carter to talk about his experience with martial arts and Live World CP Day this month. He believes that, no matter your disability, you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to, and the stigma that is placed upon the disabled community, as we are only noted for one thing or not much at all, or can do, or won't do, needs to be blown out of the water, and he intends to do that. He's a black belt in martial arts who has been training for over 12 years and teaching for the past 2. Welcome, DJ.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Tell us about what type of CP you have.
I am 40 years old and I have spastic dysplasia CP. It affects my upper and lower extremities, my legs and my arms. I am able to walk on crutches and a walker. I don't much anymore, but I am able to do that. I'm in a wheelchair mostly. I'm in a power chair. So I'm able to do pretty much everything. I have trouble like with shoes and socks and things like that, but you know, that's a CP thing kind of all the way around. My toes don't like me, but that's fine. I get it.
Katrina and I both have spastic quad CP, but have 2 totally different stories. You have done a lot in your life so far. We want to know more about your martial arts career. We don't know much about it. How did your interest in martial arts arise?
Well, it started, I'm a movie buff, and my favorite movie of all time is Best of the Best with Philip and Simon Rhee, and it's the American team versus Korea in the Sungshil Gymnasium in Seoul, Korea. And I saw it when I was 6 years old in 1987. And when the movie debuted, I spent most of the movie like this, with my mouth dropped, and I was floored by the character Tommy, who's Philip Rhee, and he's one of the best martial artists in the world. And I wanted to do martial arts, but I never really pursued it. And as I got older, I started working out, and I started, about the age of 15, I came into a martial arts studio, and their first thing was, well, we can't teach you, you're in a chair. And I'm like, hey, I can run you over and I'm in a chair. They don't teach that. And the instructor, who shall remain nameless, the first instructor I ever worked with, he said, can you straighten your arms? I said, to a point. I said, there may be some things that I'm not able to do, but there's a lot that I can do that you don't know about yet. And he worked with me for about a month and told me I would never make it past yellow belt, so I stopped. It was a discouraging blow, and for years, I just, didn't really pursue it. I still own the Best of the Best series, and I watch that before every tournament I've ever competed in. I've competed in over 20 tournaments. And my martial arts journey started in June of 2010. I was 298 pounds. I was out of shape. I was, severe insomnia. Couldn't move my legs at all. And I went into Tiger Martial Arts on Portsmouth Boulevard in Portsmouth, Virginia. And I met a man with the longest dreads I'd ever seen, tattoos on both arms. And when I rolled into the door, it was like Darth Vader opening up the starship, and I just instantly froze because I had seen this huge tiger on the back wall. And I met Jeff and Willie Hunter, and I remember the first question that I asked them. I said, I'd like to train here. How much are your classes? And Jeff came up to me and he says, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to train. And I met a man named Clifton Whitaker, who trained with me for the first 6 months before I ever went out on the mat. In 3 months, I lost 60 pounds. When they work you, they work you. I started training, and when I started training, something happened. It was about the 4th month when I went out on the mat for the first time, and Jeff and Willie started working with me. It became very quickly a lifestyle. By the time I hit yellow belt, I was, still losing weight, still learning. I sent that instructor my tape of my yellow belt test that told me I wouldn't make it past it, and I sent him every one after that. So yeah, he choked on a couple of those tapes I've heard, but to be a martial artist with cerebral palsy, it's like you said earlier. I'm a person. You tell me I can't do something, well, we're gonna have a problem. Because you too, right? Yeah, I don't like the word can't. There's only one way to change a can't into a can't, is to drop the T and get it done. That's what I do. So.
I don't think
What is martial arts?
Can you what was that again, Kel? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Katrina.
Yeah. I said, I don't think can't is in our vocabulary.
My mom always used to say, can't is too lazy to try. That was her from the time I was little. My mom came to my very first board break when I had to break a board to be yellow belt. And I'm like, what the world am I going to do? And it was, you look at it and I'm like, I've never done this before. But I remember once I hit yellow belt, my entire life changed. It was, you can't train because martial arts is not just a sometime thing for me. It's a lifestyle. You carry it. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's embedded. I don't go around, and a lot of times I'll say it to kids and they're like, why do you say yes, sir to me? And I say, why not? And they're like, what? Like, I'm going to entitle you with the same respect that you entitle me with. Even if you don't, I'm going to show you I'm a martial artist. I train so I don't have to fight.
What is martial arts?
What is martial arts? The translation is, it's actually the law. It's the law of the art. I take karate, Shotokan karate. So you're basically, for me, it's defense only. If anybody tries to take what I got, or anybody tries to keep me from going home, there is me, you, and the floor. And the objective of how you get on that floor is how quickly you stop trying to take what I have or prevent me from going home. I hope that answers that question.
How do you participate?
I mean, it's a good question, and the only thing I can do is turn that around and say, how do I not? That is a lot of people ask, how do you do martial arts from a chair, or how do you? Well, I mean, there are punches and blocks. There is mental training. There's classwork training. There is tournament preparation, eating right, getting up early. God, I hate that. But the whole. I participate you have to find what you want out of martial arts. Some people want to get, big and buff. Some people want to lose weight. Some people want to kick butt. Some people want to build self-confidence in themselves, better grades. Martial arts, one of the biggest things that changed in my life is my self-discipline and my look upon myself as to, I always thought I was a upbeat person. Like, I could do any, I was, you can't tell me I can't do something, but I realized I lacked a lot of self-confidence when they stuck that board in front of me and it's this thick. And I'm going, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to break that. I almost said the C word, and I'm like, I can't break. Oh, wait a minute, I can't say that. I remember my instructor coming over and goes, I don't think you use that word. I'm like, I don't normally. And I remember what he told me. You have this bag that you carry around. And every time something happens to you negatively, put it in that bag. Every time you have a
It
bad
is a
day.
lifestyle then.
It is a huge lifestyle. Yeah, it's more of everything that I do is a reflection of me. Okay, I'm not going to take martial arts to kick somebody's butt and throw you on the floor because I can. What I'm going to do is show you how I handle the problem and then say, why not learn it this way? I want to, when I teach martial arts, I give back what I've learned. 12 years it's a drop in the bucket. My sensei or my Shihan has been training. He's been training since he was 4. And I'm like, what? 4? I didn't know how to like 4. It's but again, you once you start, I'm addicted to it. It's the best high you could ever get.
What does it mean to have a black belt?
That's probably the question I get the most. What does it mean to have a black belt? How did you get there? So let me see if I can do this. There are 12 belts in my style, in the style of martial arts that I take. White, yellow, green. I'm sorry, white, yellow, orange, green, first green, purple, first purple, blue, first blue, brown, first brown, Shodan Ho, which is junior black belt, and then there is what they call first dan. What it means to have a black belt is, I'll be honest, a black belt is a piece of fabric. Okay, my black belt has my school name on it, my name on it, all these, if you can see them, but all these certificates on my wall back here, if they will, there's tons of them. And let me see if I can actually, there's a bunch there, and there's a bunch there. So every time you get a certificate, you get a belt, okay, but you earn it. So when you get to black belt, it takes roughly 4 years, okay? I don't put a time limit on it because everyone's like, man, in 4 years, I'm going to be a black belt. I'm going to be certified. I can do whatever I want to do. No, it's what it means is that you're a white belt that's been training just a little bit longer. So when you become a black belt, you apply all of the teachings from white belt up that you've learned, not just kicks and punches, but learning your surroundings, learning never to go out by yourself. Look, I can be 240 pounds. I can be 6'5". I can be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger don't need to go out by himself because if somebody wants to take what you got, they're going to try to. And you have to be ready and willing to defend yourself at any time. So to have a black belt to me means that I now am able to apply most of the teachings that I learned because I learn every day. I never stop learning. You stop learning, you stop trying, you stop living. That's
wow. It's interesting. I'm listening to you talk about that black. It's funny. I have a client that is taking karate, and I asked her what belt she was. I think she said purple. But it's interesting. It's an individual sport, but you don't go out there alone, or you don't. What does that mean? What is that?
That's what surprised me. And now we're getting into the emotional part of it because I'm gonna do it by myself. I'm gonna work it by myself. I'm gonna fight by myself, train by myself. Nobody gonna tell me nothing. Second day, I was like, oh crap, I can't do that. The family that I have in martial arts is I have met more people in martial arts that respect me as a martial artist because of one man, and I'm going to get into this guy a little bit. His name is Grandmaster Jack Dart. He is a 8th degree black belt. He is a multi-time world champion, and I've known him since my martial arts journey began. Like, to know Jack, oh my God. Jack is this sponge of information, of wealth of knowledge. I could call him right now and be like, Jack, I don't understand this. Master Jack, I don't understand this. Can you help me with it? And he's like, boom, 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 boom. And it's just, it's a when you have a martial arts family, when you're in martial arts and you know people, when you've been to tournaments, I've studied with, 6 different grandmasters at one time. And I'm like, jeez, I've got some of the best martial artists in the room. I mean, Jack Dart knows Chuck Norris. Mr. Whitaker has Chuck Norris's first book on Kumite, which is the style of fighting, the tournament fighting. And I wanted to spar. I wanted to get into martial arts. And I remember going to the first tournament that I ever went to in 2011. I sat and watched, and I met Jack Dart for the first time. I said, I want to fight in your tournament. What do I have to do? He looked at me. He goes, you want to fight, huh? Okay. He goes, I'm going to put your butt out there. You get hit, don't complain. Okay. You get your butt kicked, it's on you. I don't see no chair. I don't see no disability. That is the moment that changed my life. I remember June 2nd, 2011. My first tournament, I was jacked, man. I was like, oh my God, I'm in a tournament. Because I had went to 4 tournaments the year before. No, we can't let you spar. You're a liability. Can't let you spar. You get hurt the person. I'm like, isn't the person in the ring for me trying to hurt me anyway? I mean, what? I'm not going to take my footrest off and hit him in the head. What are you worried about?
How often do you go?
I used to go 3 times a week plus tournaments. I used to do 4 tournaments a year. I've backed up now because I'm teaching as well, but I have I usually go 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. I drop to 2 Monday, Wednesday, and when I have a tournament, I train every day for 6 months before the tournament starts. And it's not easy. It's not easy. If it was easy, anybody could do it. It takes a strong will to be a martial artist.
How do you qualify for you?
How do I qualify for a tournament or for martial arts in general?
How do you qualify for a tournament?
All right. So the short answer to this is every karate instructor, every karate promoter that puts on a tournament has a set of rules. There are usually several divisions. Divisions are belt colors. They're broken down by age, belt color, and then you have your black belt division. Now, black belt division, I compete usually in 2 things. There are several. There's sparring, which is point fighting. I'll get into that in just a second. But there's kata, which is an imaginary form of an imaginary form of fighting, but it's with movement. So, for example, a kata would be something like this. And that's one side. And you look and you just go, what the world was that? So to slow it down, it's that's Kahana Uke. It's 5-block kata. But it's in form. So when you're impressing the judges, there are ki-eyes, there are movements, there's
Mhm.
spirited movements, movement of the chair, and that's one of the white belt katas that you do over and over and over. And kata is repetition, repetition, repetition. You keep doing it, and you're like, if I do this kata one more time, my arm's going to fall off. I'll have to duct tape it back on and do it again. But it's there's kata, there's sparring, there's breaking, there is weapons or what they call empty hand. I've trained with Kali sticks, which are basically sticks about this long, and they're taped on one end to grab them, and you do different forms with them. You do different stick fighting. But there are several different events depending on the promoter. You qualify by paying a fee for every tournament, and usually it's one fee for 3 events unless the promoter specifies differently. But my black belt is my qualification in that division. You can qualify under any division to learn. To qualify for championships, you have to win so many tournaments a year.
Sounds like anything disciplined.
I wouldn't give it up for anything. I would do it in my sleep if I could.
Do you have any martial arts goals?
I've accomplished so many, and I have so many. It's crazy. My ultimate martial arts goal is to compete in the Shangshil Gymnasium in Seoul, Korea. That's where I want to go. That's because the referee in the movie that I referenced earlier, Best of the Best, his name is Mr. Chang Pak Kim, and he is, at that time, he was still a legit Taekwondo referee for that sport, because the Koreans are as wild about karate as the Americans are about baseball. So to go there in front of 17,000 people, I mean, and you're competing on their mat and their level, and that's my big goal to go to be a world champion. Is my other goal. I did win a grand championship in 2017, which was my first. That was my first. But I'm looking at them now. I probably have 20 trophies, 30 trophies in martial arts, just from competing.
Please tell us about teaching martial arts.
That for me is the icing on the cake now, because teaching everything your instructor says to you as a student, you go, man, I hate that. And then you see a student do something and you're like, tuck your thumb in, move your right arm, move your left arm, love me now, hate me later. And I'm like, wait a minute, my teacher used to say that. Why? So it now you're giving back to the community. Now you're teaching somebody that the student that I'm working with right now is in a wheelchair. He has cerebral palsy. I teach virtually on Mondays and Thursdays. And I wrote up a contract, talked to him, figured out what his budget was. I'll tell you this, when you find an instructor that's not in it for the money, when you find an instructor that teaches you for the love of the game, I'm telling you, if Jack were here right now, I can guarantee you 2 things he would say. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the teaching, the love of and he does love it. He talks about it in his sleep. That man has a round kick that'll make, Chuck Norris sit up and go, man, that's just really good. And he's worked with all types of people. And that's what I want to do. That's why I've trained people who are able-bodied, who are in wheelchairs. One of my best friends, Mike Smith, has one arm. He was in karate with me. We trained, we sparred. First time we sparred, we scared the heck out of people because we were going full force and they were like, I've never seen this. They're mad at each other. I'm like, no, we're not mad. We just know how it just is. You give it all. And that's what I do. And I also give it all to my students, but I expect the same from them.
Do you feel closer to CP students?
That's a great question. I do now because of the journey that I've had. I've always been closer to people with cerebral palsy or a disability of any type because in some way, shape, or form, they can relate to me and I can relate to them. But I look at them as people and not as people with disabilities. I don't care what disability you have. If you want to learn martial arts, I can teach you. The cool thing about martial arts is it's adaptable because am I going to jump up in the air and do a spinning round kick? Probably not. Can I tell you how to do it? Yeah. And that's where the experience is different. To give you an example, everybody waves, right?
Mm.
You say bye to somebody. Well, that becomes a block. And the difference is a lot of people wave like this, but when you tuck your thumb in and you block with what's called the ridge of your hand, it's different. You can block inside, you can block outside, you can block up, same way, you can block down, all with the ridge of your hand. And talking about Jack, I used to spar like this. Well, when you spar like this, your elbows are open, your midsection is open. I don't spar like that anymore. I spar like this. This hand covers the lower half. This hand covers the higher half. And when you get caught, you switch. And it's like, that makes so much. The little things in martial arts. The biggest probably thing for me is when people with disabilities do something and they get excited, especially with cerebral palsy, that spastic comes in and you're and you draw up, but when you don't hold your breath and you exhale, it makes it different because your body is getting the air that it needs to work and your muscles don't get tight. There's a expression that my Shihan used to use. Slow makes smooth, smooth makes fast. And I would question that. I don't get it. I was working on a technique. It's called a blitz. Blitz is I love a blitz because a blitz it's an outward strike of forward motion to the head, to the body, to the midsection. Master Jack is probably one of the best blitzers I've ever seen. So he slowed the blitz down to the point of where and I'm like, oh my God. So that slow makes smooth, smooth makes fast becomes when you ride your bike the first time, you don't, throw your helmet on or ride a horse for the first time. You don't throw your helmet up, go to the horse and go, all right, let's go. Jump on there. Take me down to the Kentucky Derby. Let's go win the thing. You realize this is a big animal and I better respect the heck out of it or it's going to kick me in the face. I mean, it's one of those things. So slow makes smooth, smooth makes fast.
You also have a radio talk show called My CP Does Not Define Me that airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, YouTube, and the Disability Global Broadcast. Please tell us about
my
that.
Promotional person.
What's your primary purpose?
Well, all right, there's a couple things. So to talk about that, I have been holding a microphone since I was 4. and I'm a good talker because I like to use my voice. Everybody has a voice, no matter how they use it. People with disabilities are often looked at, as you said, we're kind of put in corners and forgotten about, or locked in other rooms going, don't go in there, that boy looks weird, he's got him one of them disabilities. But if you take out the word dis, which means not, and you look at ability, that's why I love Kayla, because she's just like, her excitement is, especially with this, I can relate. Again, the questions that she asks, it's more, I can relate, but my CP does not define me. It's part of who I am, but it doesn't make me what I am. It's for people that have a story to share, a problem that they're dealing with. It is to get people to use their voice, whatever voice that is, and to realize that they're worth it and their story does matter. Because when you tell your story to me and someone else hears it, just like right here, right now, they're going, I've been paralyzed for 40 years. I didn't know martial arts could happen from a chair. I didn't know this was available. I didn't know that was available. It's
From a wheelchair to a horse.
I mean, that's, think about it. That makes perfect sense. We all get from point A to point B, even if we use our feet, our hooves, our tires in different ways. I like I said, the one thing that I'm not going to do is, you're not going to tell me I can't do that. I may have to figure it out. There's always the adaptation. To adapt is to change. That's gosh, I've known Kayla for 3 years, or probably longer than that now. But just I talk to her and I go, this is awesome, because I said, I like talking to you because I can relate to some of the things where you're coming from, and some of them I go, I ain't never done that. I had to try that out. It's new. It's different. It gives you a chance to try new things, to do new things, and to realize there's nothing you can't do. The only thing that stops you is this. It's the only thing that stops you.
Our primary purpose is to spread awareness by interviewing professionals involved in evaluation and treatment, and other individuals who live with CP globally of all ages. We discuss the similarities and wide range of differences we experience despite having a common diagnosis.
I love that. Common diagnosis, but also it's an individuality. Every case of CP is different. No case is the same. But if you look at us and you stick us beside one another, and you break a person with CP down, you break a person with spina bifida down, you break a person that is walking from point A to point B to the dollar store with a piece of glass in their foot. If you cut them open, they have one of these, and a soul. And as long as you treat them that way, it doesn't matter what problems they face. It doesn't make me any different than you. We're not different. We're equals. And if we could see each other as that, past the things that we've got to look at, it's much easier to talk to a person with CP when you go, hey, how are you? Instead of, what's wrong with you? Why are you in a chair? Well, I didn't know there was anything wrong with me. I mean, thank you for pointing that out, but I'll just, flush that over that way. And making someone laugh is probably the easiest way to break the ice. When somebody asks me what's wrong with me,
drives despite the longer road.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Katrina drives despite the longer road.
I mean, that's awesome.
Do you know what she means by that? Like the
No,
longer room. That's what she means. Yeah, I think that, I find it fascinating right now just because, I don't have any motor challenges. But listening to all of you, you have motor challenges, but you are experts in movement and experts and passionate about something that requires a lot of movement. Kayla loves the horse, you love martial arts, and Katrina loves skiing. And you have to study and really understand and really take it in even more than somebody who doesn't have motor challenges. So it's just really listening to the depth of your knowledge is way more valuable. Like when I'm hearing it, because some of the movements and things like that, I wouldn't even think about, right? Because it comes natural. It doesn't affect me. So I probably skip over some of those movements, but you're thinking, from point A
It
to B.
isn't a textbook reading.
Right, exactly. So it's been really fascinating listening to you and how you got there and your passion for martial arts.
But to comment on that, there's two things you said I want to kind of go back to. You talk about, you said I don't have, what was it, the motor issues is what you said?
Motor challenges, yeah.
Motor challenges. Okay, when you take away the word motor and you look at the simplicity of it, everybody has challenges that they face. I don't care how hard I try, I can't get my hair to look like that. Well, I can try combing it, I can try waving it, I can try letting it grow, and it goes. It doesn't. But the challenges that you face, everybody's motor runs at a different speed and a different pace. That's what life is. Yeah. It's the same thing with martial arts. The one thing with martial arts that I understand is you're going to fall. I have trained myself how to fall, but there's a word for it. It is called a break fall. It is where you take the shock of the fall and you spread the shock out through the whole body so it's not hitting one area and you go, oh, I just broke that. So when you break the fall or you break what I like to call stereotypical label of that person is in a wheelchair, they have this wrong. Hold on, can you read my mind? Yes. Did you just open that up, reach down in there and pull out the book that says, no, you assume because it's what you see outward. But when you look inward, you're going to find out what's different.
Thank you for doing this segment with us. It was great to have you on. Everyone watching, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.